Top 5 restaurant chains that are closing!
We are experiencing a complete decline in chain sit-down restaurants.
Letter right here. This is a letter from Burgers Family Restaurant in Bay City, Michigan. And it's really sad. They have been around for more than 90 years in mid-Michigan, and they're closing.
Everywhere you look, another sit-down restaurant is shutting its doors. The spots you grew up eating at, the places where families celebrated birthdays, the restaurants that used to be packed on Friday nights, now they're empty, lights dimmed, and a for lease sign slapped on the window. And this isn't just happening to the small mom and pop diners. The entire middle class restaurant segment is disappearing because it simply can't survive the new economy. These places are getting crushed from every direction. Food costs have skyrocketed, labor costs are higher than ever. Customers are visiting less, tipping less, and spending less. And when people do go out to eat, they're choosing fast, casual, or cheap takeout because that's all their budget allows now. The middle layer, the Applebee's, the Chili's, the Denny's type of experience is getting wiped out. They're too expensive to be affordable, but not premium enough to justify the prices they have to charge just to break even. What's happening right now is a massive shift in how Americans spend on food, and sit-down restaurants are the first casualties. Once these places go under, they rarely come back. The buildings get replaced with storage units, urgent cares, or random seasonal stores. And entire memories people made there just vanish. The examples in this video are just a tiny sample of the thousands of restaurants across the country struggling every single day to keep their doors open. If the economy keeps tightening, we're going to lose even more of these staples. And the dining experience most people grew up with might not even exist 10 years from now. Check out some of these videos.
Does anyone else remember like 2008, 2009 when you go out to dinner with your family on a Friday night and no matter where you went, the place would be like slammed? You'd pull up to a Bennigan's or an Applebee's or a TGI Fridays and minimum, there'd be a line out the door, minimum 30, 45-minute wait, no questions asked every time. They'd hand you one of those buzzer things, you'd take it, you go wait outside and you'd wait. You just sit with your family and chat for 30 to 45 minutes. Most of the time, not that long, but it was just part of the game. That's what you did. You waited. There was a line. Fast forward to current times, not anymore. I don't know, man. I had my high school reunion a couple weeks ago. We went downtown on a Saturday night, a group of 12 of us, no reservations, no plans. We walked to the first restaurant we saw and got sat immediately, right away. A table of 12. That shouldn't happen. I don't know if this is just a Florida thing. Everyone tells me it's dead season, but it's been dead season for 5 years at this point. I think restaurants are just dying. I don't think people want to drop $100 for a group of two on just mid food anymore. The tipping's gotten crazy. I think the food's mid. I think people just don't want to go out. There's Uber Eats. I think there's a lot of reasons. The music's too loud, and this is coming from a live musician. Plus, cooking at home is fire. I don't know. That's just what I'm seeing. Any bartenders, servers, hosts want to chime in? Are you guys seeing the same thing? Am I crazy? What do you think?
I'm at Isola's Country Cookin', a Hinesville favorite that has announced they're closing their doors by the end of this month. I'll give you just a quick look around. Some of their favorite recipes. It's all Southern home-style cooking. As you can see, there's a line forming. People trying to get a taste while they still can. Owners tell me they're officially closing their doors November 30th. Full story tonight 10.
Top 5 restaurant chains that are closing! Number 5, we got Denny's, okay? It's hard to imagine a world without Denny's. I don't think they're closing all locations, but a ton of them. Where are drunk people going to eat at 4:30 in the morning? You know what I mean? This is a national emergency. Number 4 is Boston Market. You're going to have to get your sodium fix somewhere else, folks, because Boston Market's going down the tubes. Number 3 is TGI Fridays, and I'm like, TGI Fridays, is that just Applebee's with a different sign? They taste exactly the same. You know what I mean? I don't know a difference. Tell me the difference. Number 2 is Applebee's, okay? And ever since that horrible song came out, I've been done with them. Applebee's on the date night with a hang-a-dang-a-dang-a-dang-a. Fuck! I hate it. Also, what is good at Applebee's besides those boneless chicken wings? If you like this list and want more about other nonsense, follow me. Leave me a comment with the chain restaurant you're most distressed about closing. Also follow my fiancée Samantha. Finally, at number 1, we got the Cracker Barrel.
We are experiencing a complete decline in chain sit-down restaurants like TGI Fridays, Outback, Red Lobster. All of those are losing tons of money, closing lots of different locations, and it's not just about food. I want to explain how this trend reveals something really profound about how our relationship with community is changing and likely getting worse. Casual dining chains, places where middle-class families could walk in without a reservation and have a meal at a relatively affordable price, have been in a steady decline throughout the 21st century. Last year alone, I think TGI Fridays and Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy. And this isn't necessarily just about Americans spending less money at restaurants. We're actually still spending the same amount as ever, studies have shown. But we're seeing trends where people are buying food made by restaurants and eating it elsewhere. So like the rise of these specific kind of to-go chains like Sweetgreen, Cava, through delivery apps, through drive-thrus, takeout services, those have become ingrained habits, and those have risen at the sacrifice of these other chain sit-down restaurants. And these restaurants have traditionally provided a third space for a lot of communities. These social environments kind of separate from your home or your work, where communities can form, social capital develops. Maybe you're meeting people at these places. Maybe you're just having more bonding time with your family. And the decline of these restaurants represents not just a changing in dining preferences, but a fundamental shift in like how we're building connections. Like if most of the way that we consume food is walking into a place, grabbing a to-go bag, walking back to our apartment alone and eating it, or just getting it delivered straight to our door, that radically is different in the way that we interact with other people and build community and are just outside of the home. When you go out to a restaurant and sit down, it can be a little bit more annoying. Sometimes the food's delayed. You obviously have to interact with a lot of different people, like the waiter, the hostess, maybe the people sitting around you. But that is building kind of weak community ties that can actually end up being very strong and good for your mental well-being, compared to ordering delivery where you're just clicking a bunch of things on a phone and someone comes and drops the food off. Half the time you don't even see the delivery person, and it's a very isolated experience, and it can erode our feeling of community around us. And another piece is that, yes, people are still eating out, but when these kind of more affordable chains become priced out, certain groups of people, like middle and lower income people, will eat out less if the only other option is more expensive dining options. Something I also want to add about the rise of apps is that we all have a diminished capacity now for sustained, uninterrupted engagement. Like we are constantly distracted due to social media, due to all the notifications on our phones, and the time of a sit-down meal feels increasingly costly in the market of digital distraction. Like for a lot of people, they cannot sit for an unsustained amount of time and eat a meal. Like they just have to have their phone kind of with them. They have to be watching something at the same time that they're eating. And so what is so significant about all this is that it accelerates the autonomization of social experience. So when meals become about individual consumption rather than a shared social ritual, which historically they have been a shared ritual, you typically are eating with other people, we are losing very important opportunities for connection that our psychological well-being really depends on. And obviously, some of these chains, whether you like the food or not, it's about recognizing how changes in consumption patterns reflect and reinforce shifts in how we experience community. And as these communal spaces disappear, we need to be intentional about creating new opportunities for genuine human connection. And if you're interested in how consumer behavior, money psychology interacts with cultural and social issues, I write about this all the time in my newsletter. You can sign up in the link in my bio.
Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Dave Bondi. So this letter right here, this is a letter from Burgers Family Restaurant in Bay City, Michigan. And it's really sad. They have been around for more than 90 years in mid-Michigan, and they're closing. Why are they closing? Well, the economy. They say in this letter that things have gotten so bad that despite being open for all of these years, they have no choice but to close and sell the building. And by the way, if you're following me right now, I left my job in the mainstream media because I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm independent. Swipe to the left, go to my bio, and click Substack and get my free newsletter. Sign up. Okay, back to this. So the restaurant said since 2020, and you know what happened then? They have been, like every other restaurant, struggling. And they've been trying to catch up. But due to the economy, they can't. This is just one example of restaurants and businesses, small businesses, that are closing every single day in this country. Let me know what you're thinking, and make sure you're swiping to the left and going to my bio and signing up to my free newsletter so you can get the truth that you may not see here. Thank you, everyone. Prayers to this family.
I got bad news for everyone who grew up on Frenzies and Fribbles. Another Friendly's location in Greater Boston has closed its doors. It appears that the one in Pembroke, Massachusetts is no longer in business. A source told our partners at Boston Restaurant Talk that that location in Pembroke was out of business and it's no longer listed on the company's corporate website. So with that closure, there are now just 7 Friendly's locations along and within 495, including this one in Norwood, which is still open, right on Providence Highway or Route 1. Now, despite that, it's actually been a pretty big year for Friendly's. 2025 marks 90 years of the brand. It dates all the way back to 1935 when it was founded in Springfield, Massachusetts. Also, this summer, the parent company of Friendly's, Brix Holdings, was purchased by a franchisee who actually started as a server at Friendly's way back in the day when he was a teenager. Now this new owner says he wants to focus on growing the brands now in his portfolio, including Friendly's. He wants to particularly focus on target markets though, like the Carolinas and Texas. But for my New Englanders, let me know in the comments what your favorite Friendly's memories were. Frankly, my favorite was the Monster Mash Sundae growing up.
Y'all, I'm feeling some kind of way. I just found out that Sherry's is closing. All Oregon locations. Like, I've gone to Sherry's for decades. So many late nights there, like after going out and partying, having a little breakfast to soak up the alcohol, to being at Sherry's late night after church, after like late night prayer and worship sessions, and going out and hanging out with my old pastor Randy and some friends. It just all feels so sudden. That ending. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.